would it give them some sort of ability to register or adapt in the fight at a faster clip? Because we've also talked about how people who can adapt and make changes, like we've seen in the Usyk and Fury fight, can totally turn the tides of the fight.
hmm no, no.
All right, welcome to another episode of Two Fight Fans, where we talk about all things in combat sports. I'm one fight fan, Colin.
And I'm the other Stewart.
All right, so Subi said he was going to recap for me what happened this weekend because I did not watch anything.
Oh man, we had like 3 big things happen. We totally forgot that there was a PFL card this weekend.
Yeah,
But it
yes, we
was
did.
it was Paul Hughes, the Irish prospect that I've talked about as being probably, besides Connor, the most successful Irish prospect. Better than Ian Gary, better than, are there any other Irish prospects? Not really, but better than Ian Gary in the PFL. And he was fighting the brother of Umar Nurmagomedov, Usman Nurmagomedov, for the
Oh,
lightweight
that's
title.
right.
And the fight was an absolute banger, man. It
Yeah?
was so fucking good. And a little bit of fun at the very end. I thought a clear robbery. I thought
Oh,
Usman should not have won. I thought it definitely was a draw. And so I was excited to come in here and be like, Colin, did you also get a draw? Because it's pretty rare when you watch an MMA fight to be like definitively go, that should have been a draw.
yeah.
And
How'd they get a draw?
so it was 3 rounds to 2. I thought but there was a point deduction in one of the rounds that Usman
Oh,
won. So though some people, I mean, if you could have swung it the other way, I can't see 4 rounds for Usman, but I saw some people had different scorecards, but like it still ended up being a draw. So one judge gave it the 47-47, and then the other 2 gave it 4 rounds to 1, even though there was a point deduction. So, it kind of muddles the numbers, but Usman
yeah.
still won. But dude, all the shit we'd like to see, the Nurmagomedov camp getting all of its takedowns immediately stuffed. We see insane body work, just like rib roasters left and right from Paul Hughes. Super high action fight. Just like high level skill too. Great head movement, great mixing up of head and body technique. It was a fantastic fight. It's the best fight of 2025 so far. I mean, there hasn't been that many, but it's the best fight so far. It's probably going to go on the list of one of the best fights this year. It was
All right.
really great.
All right. I'll have to rewatch that one then.
Yeah, so I don't know where you watch it. I had to find it just randomly online somewhere. I won't say where, but yeah, it's the PFL. I have no idea where any of their shit is. So kind of odd.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
as well, again, I didn't watch it live, but BKFC went to Philly. And
Oh, I did hear about this. And they had
Eddie
the
Alvarez.
biggest live gate or something for a boxing or MMA event
Yeah, they
in
sold out a
Philly.
17,000 seat arena. They sold it out.
Jeez.
Which, is there any other organization outside of the UFC that can do that? Like, I don't think PFL could do that. I don't think one could do that in America.
No, I don't think so.
BKFC might be the number 2 MMA organization in North America.
Which is wild.
Yeah, because it's not even, I mean, it is MMA. It's not MMA. It's where MMA fighters go when they retire and they all agree, we're just going to stand and bang, right? They should just call it stand and bang. That's what they should call it. No, they shouldn't do that. But, yeah, Jeremy Stevens broke the jaw of Eddie Alvarez. It was pretty cool. And then Conor McGregor got up there, and I'm upset that they're trying to like rehab his image through BKFC because he's a part owner, but that boy was coked out of his goddamn mind and just going on insane rants for the media, barely coherent. Yeah, it was all the madness you'd expect from a bare knuckle boxing event.
Yeah.
So overall, like Ben Rothwell fought and had like a wicked knockout. I have a hard time watching bare knuckle, but you are basically guaranteed a knockout because their defense is so bad and it's so easy to just like clobber someone with no gloves. So I'd say Eddie Alvarez, Jeremy Stevens, and Paul Hughes, Usman Nurmagomedov. Those are the 2 fights you gotta watch. It was pretty
All
good.
right, all right.
Pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, and now I see on our sheet you have something else from this weekend. Another MMA organization.
Yeah.
Tell me about this and tell me, did you watch this or watch a recap of this?
No, so first of all, I think you had told me about like how a lot of these like older fighters have been like signed with the Global Fight League or GFL, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The Grandpa Fight
And
League?
yes, that is exactly it because we'd spent a little time, talking about Chris Weidman's retirement,
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, "Hey, good job. Okay, he did it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
old man, time to go away." Only to announce he is now signed with the Global Fight League.
Yep. Yep. That's that's I believe 2 of your predictions on Colin's crystal balls are wrong now because you said there would never be a 40 plus age for a tough season. And I think that's just the GFL and that Chris Weidman would be done when he retired in the UFC. And it turned out a week later, your boy's back. Your boy's
Yeah.
back, ready to fight.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Did you watch any of this like mock draft thing that they did?
No, but I did see a picture of I think it was Tyron Woodley? I don't know, but he comes out in like weird gladiator armor.
Oh, that wasn't Tyron Woodley. That was an AI generated Tyron Woodley.
Oh.
Yeah, they have
That's why. Okay,
AI
okay.
generated open, and so you're kind of trying to guess like who are each of these fighters because it looks like they kind of mixed Mauricio Shogun Hua with Ronaldo a little bit. So I'm like, that can't be Shogun. That was Shogun maybe when he was like 18 and like had a glow up. They had Alexander Gustafsson coming out looking like an old timey Midwestern like Undertaker from like the Civil War era. It didn't even look like Alexander Gustafsson. So this like horrendous AI art gladiator thing, and then one of the worst, knowing full well that Face the Pain exists, one of the worst MMA like theme songs I've ever heard.
Oh boy.
It was all about like protect your neck because I'm never gonna tap because I'm the best. Watch out, an arm bar's coming, and you're like, oh no, oh no. You just showed it the Wikipedia page to mixed martial arts, and then you were like, please write a rap song for us, and that's what got spit out.
Oh
Um,
no.
so Colin, this isn't part of Colin's crystal balls because we don't have enough questions, but the GFL, do they even put on one fight?
Oh.
Or is this all they're getting venture capitalist funds, they're tricking morons who know nothing about MMA into investing into this, and then there actually will never be a fight that takes place under the GFL banner?
I think there will be because okay, so this is also like a team-based organization where you're gonna have like 2 teams match up and all their weight classes fight or something, right?
Yeah, kind of. Or do you pick and choose a certain number of people from your roster? I'm not
Yeah,
entirely sure, and it's not entirely important.
right. But if it is like just 2 teams matched up at a time, because it's like you've got, the Brazil, whatever, I think they'll have like at most 3 events, but
Mhm.
not every fighter because not every team will actually get a chance to participate. And by like the second or third, they're gonna be like, all right, this did not work.
Yeah, yeah. Of those teams and the fighters, are there any matchups you do want to see, or you think they should try to make if they are going to have at least one card?
Oh, good question. Let's see who has been drafted and when so far. Hold on.
Drafted. Did you see like during the announcement because it was supposed to pretend to be a real draft? They just flashed up the finalized draft, so it was all kind of it was all made up. Haha, we didn't actually draft like we pre-decided.
Oh no,
Or
I did
whatever.
not. Oh, because all the. Oh, okay. I did not realize all the fighters were actually already like selected here. Okay. God, this is seeing some of these names on these teams. It's really it makes me pretty sad.
I mean, it should.
I
Yeah.
mean, also their weight classes are so random.
Yeah, it's whoever they could get, right? It's whoever they could like snatch up.
Yeah. God, one team here for Thiago Alves has Gino dos Santos, Thiago Santos, Yoel Romero, Gleison Tebow, Jeremy Stevens, Anthony Pettis, Marlon Moraes, Kat Zingano, Paige Van Zant, like all these names that were like, God, what happened?
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, life passes you by, right?
Yeah.
This is a brutal sport. You can't live in it forever. You're not young forever. Eventually, your body will break down, and you end up being in the GFL. Like, that's what
Jesus.
happens. Well, a lot of these guys got paid peanuts when they fought, and
Yeah.
um, if you professionally fight in a cage for a living, your like risk management and long term planning are probably not super great. So I doubt any of them are like buying up laundromat franchises or investing heavily into the S&P while they were fighting. So
Oh,
yeah,
Holly Holmes signed here too.
yeah, mm-hmm. And Dylan Dennis, Chris Weidman,
Yeah.
Benson Henderson, Henan Barrow. Remember him? I thought he was
Yeah.
dead. Like,
Luke
yeah.
Rockhold, Frank Mir, and Rashad Evans. What the fuck?
Well, and apparently Rashad Evans came out and he's like, I never talked to them. Like, I have no idea how they like drafted me. I've never agreed to fight for the PFL. So yeah,
Wow.
it's like a lot of this. I don't even know if it's real, right? Like half of these people are like under contract with other organizations. So it's like,
Yeah.
what?
How is
How
this
are you?
possible?
Yeah, my feeling is it's not. This is just a cash grab. This is
Uh,
just a big scam
all
to
right.
try to steal money from investors. Um, yep, that's my assumption.
Okay.
This stinks. Excuse me, big sneeze. This stinks of yeah. This is like almost like a pump and dump scheme, right? Like this isn't real. Uh, yeah. Anyway, that's the GFL. That
Yeah.
were the two good fights that happened this weekend. And then you've got something else up here. You've got like a whole article about something about
Oh,
Kevin Holland.
he just admits he's trash. Like,
Yeah.
and he basically, it's like we talked about before, like how he's just said, I'm only interested in fighting. I don't really care about records or going for the championship. But yeah, so it was just following his loss like very, very quickly when we talked about it. I just thought it was interesting that was what he like what he admitted to, or what his current like approach going into fights are.
Yeah, well, we learned because of the payouts. Let me see here. Uh, Payouts for 311, right? Because the California State Athletic Commission still discloses those.
Yeah.
What was his payout for a very quick loss in which he took almost no damage? $250,000. So just to
Jeez.
show up and get tapped really fast, $250,000.
Wait, he got paid more than uh Islam?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Now, you might hear some people online say, no, that's no way. What's secretly happening is that they're not paying him the $200,000 in California because taxes are high. What they do is they say, hey, why don't you fly to Saudi Arabia and you just might find a bag of cash waiting for you there, which would
Oh,
imply tax evasion, orchestrated tax evasion on part of the UFC. So I don't know if I totally buy that. That just seems like cope for people who go, no, Islam has to be getting paid more. There's no way. The UFC would never do him dirty like that. And you're like, I think they would. I think they really would.
yeah.
So, but back to this Kevin Holland thing, 250,000 to just come in, get tapped instantly, right? Almost like his past few losses have been like really quick. He's almost taken no damage. He just gets tapped super fast. Um, he has talked about, I can't remember where. He doesn't even treat fighting like his job. He runs, I think, like 2 or 3 businesses. I think he owns a vape shop. I think he owns like a couple of brick and mortar stores
Uh-huh.
in his local area in Texas. And he just treats fighting like hey, I need a $250,000 cash infusion to my businesses. Right? They're struggling a little bit right now, but if I can get some cash on hand quickly, they'll probably survive, and I'll come out the other end of it. And so
Hmm.
he takes a fight, and then he gets $250,000, and he goes, "Great, throw that back into my businesses. They start floating. They're working. I don't need to take a fight for a little while. Right? I can keep this going." So he's treating it almost like gambling, but a guaranteed like no matter what, when I gamble here, or like I guess a vending machine. I'll trade a few brain cells. I'll get $250,000 back for my business, right? It's not about athletic glory or trying to get the biggest bag from the UFC by making himself a star. It's about just going, I've got this good contract. I can just keep fighting endlessly. I will keep getting as much cash as quickly as possible to feed into my real life businesses. So,
Hmm.
kind of an interesting way to treat fighting, I think. I wouldn't like recommend it, but at least he's thinking about what his life will be like after fighting, right?
Sure. Yeah, which is much more than well, we just talked about the Grandpa Fight League. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So it does mean though that I'm like a little less interested when I see him on cards though, because I'm like, okay, I know you don't really care. You just are gonna
yeah,
because I think that 250K is just show money, and I don't think he gets a win bonus. He just
okay,
gets the flat 250 anytime he shows up. So like, why would you? Why would you try? I mean, unless you're like in a bad spot or you can really easily like nuke the person, like you can just go in there, give up your back, right? And it doesn't look like you are throwing the fight if you just like let yourself get taken down, immediately turtle, roll to your stomach and give up your back and then just get choked out, right? That just
right,
looks like,
yeah,
oh man, you got choked out so fast. Um, yeah, you just kind of lazily defend certain positions and then boom, $250,000. You go home, you're a little sore, but not that bad. Yeah. But eventually he's gonna go up against someone who's gonna like not take the easy route and just like keep punching him in the head.
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where the flaw in the system is exposed. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, anything else from this past week? Anything else you've seen, read, need?
Yeah, I have a couple segments for you that I wanna, or a new segment
Ooh.
for you that I want to see. Like, I just want to get your hot take on it really quickly. So there's two things that came out. And I'm going to call this the bro science corner with Stubby.
Mm, I do
So
love bro science.
we talked at length about Barov's endurance and how it's just like a ridiculous, unfair like skill that he has. Like,
Yeah.
and we argue like it has to be partially genetic. And while I definitely do believe it, Corey Sandhagen came out and said, I think I know why Barov has so much more endurance than everyone else. And it has to do with the fact that we kind of talked about it a little bit that Barov is always yelling all the time, right?
Okay.
But so so
Okay.
and he was like, and Corey Sandhagen says, I think he is yelling all the time, and that's like training his lungs in some way. And then again, what like a big jump to conclusion, but there is an article that shows that had again, it's a relatively small sample size, but if you're like working out, or at least I know for me, I felt this like after a long workout or in the middle of a drill, you're like keeled over, you're breathing heavy, and you just kind of give a guttural yell out to like supercharge yourself or something. And you
Mhm.
feel like for a brief moment you have a little bit more energy there, right?
Mhm.
So scientists had athletes do that while training, and they had measurable improvements to their like strength output or like endurance capacities. So,
Interesting. Do we know
but
what
it's
kind of sport they were doing when they were testing it?
yeah. Hold on, let me see. It was what were they doing? They were doing cycling.
Okay. Oh, so just like a really hard aerobic exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, I mean, this sounds like bro science 101, baby. This
I
is
know,
this
I
is
know.
uh
But it reminds me a lot of like, okay, remember back in the old days of MMA where they were trying to like replicate elevation training,
yeah.
not at elevation by having people wear like, like snorkels while they ran and,
Yeah.
and like wearing like different types of masks to restrict their breathing. Just to,
Uh-huh.
essentially like the concept was to make your lungs work harder,
Yeah.
So it's like your lungs are a muscle. So if you restrict their ability to breathe normally, you know, you can make them essentially like work overtime to build
Mhm.
more endurance or to make your lung capacity stronger or whatever.
Yeah, and that turned out to be entirely false too. Like it's okay. So like two or three things. One, like this is total bro science. Two, it's I think it's really hard for I think any athlete, and I think even just like the general public. I think just like the attitude about cardio is it's an infinite staircase that you can climb,
Right.
right? And that everyone has access to the same exact staircase. That there are not people like Conor McGregor is a classic example who just like after 9 minutes of hard aerobic exercise, they just don't genetically have the ability to kind of like continue at a high pace. They have to take a break, right? There are like classic examples of very high level fighters who are in very very good physical condition who train cardio consistently and consistently struggle in the back half of a fight, and there are fighters that don't. And so but I think because right, why can't nobody goes like I think I know why Max Holloway has a rock iron chin. It's gotta be because he's getting sunlight on his balls when he's in Hawaii, right? Like nobody's saying that, right? People just like it's just much more comfortable to say like a chin is just what you have, right? But cardio has a weird sort of like Protestant work ethic attached to it, being like no, it must be always achievable to get better cardio, and like it is the thing I think actually like according to the literature, I don't know if I can pull it up right now, but like of the types of like flexibility and cardio are the two things most prone to improvement when giving proper stimuli
Yeah.
as opposed to strength, as opposed to muscle size, right? That has a little bit more genetic factor in it. Whereas everyone's cardio can get better if they just do some road work. Everyone's flexibility can get better if they run, right? Everyone can get a little bit stronger, but size, strength, mass, explosivity, hand-eye coordination, like your ability to have reaction time, those things are a lot harder to get noticeable improvements on just by giving the correct stimulus to. Um,
Right.
so like if yelling helps, my also assumption is like a lot of these guys, I'm going to a powerlifting gym and like I see some people in there and like when you breathe when lifting a heavy weight isn't like natural for a lot of people, right? They
Right.
breathe at
Right.
the wrong time or they don't do a full inhalation.
Well,
And
that's the
you and
same
I,
with people who start fighting for the
yeah,
first few times. So
absolutely. People hold their breath constantly. Even
yeah,
good boxers, you can see that they exhale and inhale like improperly. And there's also like a weird thing of there's not only physical fatigue, but there's like mental fatigue, right? Like if you get
I was just gonna say, yeah.
like overstimulated or you're trying to think too intently, like be too conscious while you're fighting, and you can't stay relaxed, you tire out a lot faster. Not because your body is doing a ton, but because like your neurosystem just gets overloaded. Um, so I yelling maybe it does help. Like it does look like there is some science, but I wonder if that's just like forcing people who are not properly breathing to like
To breathe
breathe for a
properly.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if like yelling a lot is necessarily the reason because Umar Nurmagomedov looked like he was breathing properly the whole time. He just physically couldn't keep that pace, man. Like it
Yeah.
just he was breathing heavy after the fight when they were interviewing him. It wasn't like he was like, and then I recovered. He was like, holy shit, I think I won that fight. So I think this seems like a little bit of cope, right, from fighters. Like because it's hard, right? Because like what if you like admit, like, I can't, you know, I
I
remember
Yeah, it
hearing
is admitting like, yeah, he has a better punch than me. Yeah, he's a lot faster than me. Yeah, he
yeah,
has better fight IQ than me.
yeah,
It's hard to admit that exactly like you said, something that people think is an even playing field. Like if you just work harder, you'll
yeah,
have the same level of endurance. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And it's like you said, all those other ones, we have tried and true responses to like you can lie to yourself about. This person hits a lot harder than you. Well, he's not going to be able to hit me because my defense is better. Or this guy's got great defense. It won't matter because I've got like volume and offense that like will crack his defense. There's no answer to being like this guy is in infinitely better shape than you. You're just like,
yeah.
fuck. Like there's no like, well, that doesn't matter. I'm fat and out of shape, but I'm right? We've dispelled the illusion of the death touch or shooting fireballs out of our hands or the secret technique to like kill anything. So yeah, when somebody goes, yeah, that guy's just in way better shape than you, you have to search for something. Otherwise, you go
Mhm,
like, I have to just admit I'm never going to be able to like kind of climb that mountaintop. Um,
mhm.
it's interesting. There was this kind of reminds me also of Jamal Hill in the pre-fight press conference was asked by a reporter, "Do you think like Yuri is 32? do you think he can add anything to his style, or it's kind of baked in, right?
Mhm.
And Jamal Hill, in like a classic, not kettle calling the pot black, but like not wanting to admit his own failings, was like, no, anyone can change at any time. Growth is always possible. And I was like, Jamal, that's a cover for you, my man, when you learn that you can't make changes because you've baked your style in too hard to your like neuro wiring. So it's funny to see fighters where you're like, if the question was asked of them, they couldn't be like, yeah, it would suck if this is just how I fight forever, right? Because it's like once you're in your like mid 30s, like that's about it. Like you're not really gonna massively change your fighting style. It's supremely difficult to do that, and
Yeah.
oftentimes it doesn't work. And so hearing Jamal be like, no, 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 you could always change it. I'm like, Jamal, baby, I think you need to go to a therapist. Talk through that for a second. Yeah. Anyway, so no, I don't believe it's because Marab yells a lot. I think Marab yells a lot because he never gets tired, and I think part of it too is I think we talked about this, right? This difference between like mentally tired versus physically. I think like Marab,
Yeah.
unlike almost every other human on Earth, just kind of lacks the fear of getting tired.
Yeah.
And without that fear, it like actually kind of gives him a buffer, right? Because it's almost like when you get tired or if you like have a panic attack or like any like you become more nervous about that thing happening again. And so when you begin to feel the very beginning moments of getting tired or very beginning moments of feeling panic, you then like accelerate how tired you get or how panicked you are because you're like, oh shit, here it comes. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And
Yeah.
I think Marab just doesn't have that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I don't know. I don't know why people in MMA there can't just be right. Like I think about like Lance Armstrong, which besides all the cheating, the boy produced what like 10% of the normal human body's lactic acid, so his muscles never burned. And you're just like, yeah, like maybe Marab's got that. Like maybe like he's just not in a sport where there's millions of dollars to investigate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he just might be just a freak, man. And I think
He's
he is.
definitely a freak, but
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. Like,
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Corey Sandhagen. No, man. I mean, I guess go try yelling. Like it didn't help Diego Sanchez that much, but might help you. Like I guess. But no, we're gonna call this certified bro science.
all right. All right.
It's not as bad as the eagle thing Brian Ortega was talking about, but it is still pretty. It seems to be a little pot calling the kettle black for Corey Sandhagen.
All right. All right. I
Yeah.
got one more for you though. I got one more in this
Oh.
section. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just pontificated for a long time. I thought that was
No,
it.
no, I think that was good. This
Oh
this is
shit.
why I created this so that I could get your hot takes here.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it hotter and less thoughtful.
Okay, okay. Really quickly, I want to ask you, what do you think is there a future for VR in MMA training?
No.
Because okay. I know it's not to replace training, to supplement it. Because here's what I'm saying. There was do you watch football at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know the Commanders, they made it to the NFC Championship for the first time in like ever,
Yeah.
basically.
With a
And
rookie
they
quarterback
with
too.
a rookie quarterback,
Yeah,
who
man.
was the second overall pick. People were definitely like kind of overlooking him at the beginning of the season, whatnot. But it came out later on that he made it contingent that when he signed with an NFL team, that they would bring over the VR program that he used to train while in college.
Mhm.
And this like this system basically he plays certain downs or certain plays against certain defenses, and basically he plays also at like 1.8 speed so that it
Mm.
forces him to look and find openings faster. And people are
Mhm.
attributing that to his like decision making, his calmness. He's basically displaying a skill set that is reserved for more experienced quarterbacks in the
Mhm.
league, which has led to him leading his team to success. And
Mm.
really, you could only do this for like the quarterback position and maybe like one or two other positions for football. So
Yeah.
my thought was, okay, could you add this to someone who is like, again, not replacing sparring, not
Mhm.
replacing road work, anything like that, but like adding it to that so they can get reads and kind of figure out like this is what someone would do, or this is what it would look like. This is how to time off of it. And even if you like increase the speed, so it forces you to register more or to recognize things more. Because we've talked at length at times of like, hey, this person, like, you know they're throwing the jab, but you just can't see it or you
Yeah.
can't time it. So
Mhm.
learning that would, I don't know, would it give them some sort of edge? Would it give them some sort of ability to register or adapt in the fight at a faster clip? Because we've also talked about how people who can adapt and make changes, like we've seen in the Usyk and Fury fight, can totally turn the tides of the fight.
Mhm. Um, no. No, no. So, okay, if I'm understanding correctly, that is interesting, right? Because what it essentially is saying that he's using VR to develop faster pattern recognition. He's playing a
Yes,
game, like a
to
match the
get game
play,
sense.
match the opening. Yeah, like almost like match two cards and just doing it at lightning speed so he can have faster visual pattern recognition without forcing a bunch of players to like drill this with him infinitely, right? He can just do it himself and he can run it at a clip faster than a human being can go. It
Mhm.
kind of reminds me of like when we learned like when Steph Curry was, I mean he's still the king of the three-pointer, but like when he was like bursting onto the scene with the Warriors and he was just buckets left and right. He talked about how he would wear drunk goggles and he would like do his 3 point shots from different positions with different intensities of drunk goggles, and like he would wear mismatched shoes to practice like his balance or his jump shot if he was off balance or anything would happen, so that no matter kind of what hindrance his body had or his sight had, he would be able to gauge and understand how to sink the shot. And people were like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" But again, that's like pattern recognition and getting used to being off balance, right? Slightly. MMA is so much about like I don't know, like what how could you do pattern recognition in VR really? Like is it just recognizing a combination? But like you're if you get it wrong in real life, then you get punched in the head and immediately the pattern recognition goes away because now you're probably in a clinch or you're eating a combination you didn't see before. Um I don't I mean, maybe because apparently a lot of fighters don't do any tape study, which probably like I think.
This is what it would essentially like translate
Yeah,
into. It'd be like a next level of tape study.
but I don't know how it'd be next level because it would just be in VR, right?
Right.
Like, have you ever like watched a movie in VR? It's like watching it on a flat screen, but then you've got a little like avatar body seated in the chair, and you can look down and be like, "Oh, look at that!" Right? Like you could just do tape study.
Right.
Um, so I don't.
I mean, they would have to. I don't know the process for this like company that does this for Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels, but they can like. I think they literally upload like schemes or like
Mm-hmm.
plays that the defense has run.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, in that regards, it's like, hey, you all line up. This is what you see. This is what you're doing. So everyone,
Yeah.
there's like a set play coming at you. Whereas for fighting, it is more fluid
Yeah. Well,
sometimes.
and like even if you were going to like, okay, let's train a sequence, right? It's not like because Jane Daniels can practice like, hey, we're going to give you 5 seconds on the clock to actually pick who where you need to get this ball. We're going to give you 2 seconds on the clock, and so he gets a very like short amount of time to recognize the pattern and go, I pick this one, and then they can say like, yes, open, no, not open. Right? It's
Mhm.
not actually training the accuracy of his arm or anything like that, right? Or like how the wind will
Right.
affect the
Right.
ball. Like, so I don't understand how that would translate to MMA because it's like you need to tell me what to do next when Islam grabs you. And it's like
Mhm.
you're probably not even going to see Islam. You're going to have to feel where his like balance is. You're going to have to feel where his grips are in your body. So much of it is a lot more feel than it is
Right.
sight that
Recognition.
yeah, I don't know how this would work. Um so I'm going to say no. This is no. This is not going to right. It's like there are sports that this wouldn't work for that it or it would work
Yes.
for
Yes.
like like it's not necessarily VR, but those like golf screens that have like $5,000 cameras to like the exact trajectory of your ball, and so you can practice on that. And I get that, but if you were like, I'm gonna do VR, but it's gonna be powerlifting, it's like, well, what the fuck is that gonna be useful for? Like,
Yes.
you need to just be lifting that heavy ass weight, son, right? And you go practice a technique, and maybe you can use like a scanner to say like, hey, your back's a little like not straight, you need to tighten your glutes a little more, whatever the fuck. But like, it's not gonna help you beyond being like, okay, I got my technique down, but now I just got to lift this fucking big piece of metal off the ground. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how I feel about like MMA. Because I don't know, have you ever done like Wii boxing or VR boxing or any of that shit? It's the silliest thing on earth because you just like if you eventually put your hands in front of you and just like do like a Wing Chun rabbit punch like that wins always because the sensors are not like nuanced enough to be like ooh and then I dodge. You're just like nah man, I'm throwing faster than a human could ever throw punches right now, and yeah, it's no 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 nope, it's not gonna work. Don't yell, don't do VR, or maybe just do VR and just yell and see if that does it. You don't need to do road work, just scream as you're doing VR. Maybe that's the secret. I mean, that's what every weeb wishes, right? They watch
Oh yeah.
Naruto, they put on their VR headset, they scream and do their Naruto techniques, and then one day somebody's being assaulted and they're able to fucking like flying ninja kick them into the sky. No, it won't work. Unfortunately, for a lot of things in life, you just have to go do the shitty hard part
Yep.
continuously in a monotonous routine until you get better at it. Like that's the score, man. So
I agree with you on that. You know,
yeah,
I'm just I just feel like if someone can make use of it, I just it's gonna be like the funniest, but also we may look back and be like, huh, maybe they had something there. Like,
well,
I
I
don't
mean, like
know.
let's go into the brainstorm corner for a second. Like, what elements of it? Because all of this is what I'm hearing is using VR as pattern recognition, visual pattern recognition.
I,
What?
I think if you had mainly like a stand up, like maybe more for boxing or maybe like, because yeah, you're not gonna like so much of like defending Islam's takedown will be okay, like if you can recognize and like get out before even he gets his hands around you, maybe you have a chance. But then a lot of it's
Mhm,
gonna be like, hey, you just have to know that he's gonna grab a hold of you. So
mhm.
how do you wall walk back up? How do you, like sprawl? How do you back yourself up so that you don't get taken down?
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
lot of that is feel, but some of it, if someone is more of a, an awkward striker like Yuri, like
Mhm.
like how would you try to learn to recognize like what angle he's gonna come at or how he moves or whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean, does that mean we should just be playing the UFC video game? Like
hey.
because like I can't. I guess what I mean, you have sparring partners for this reason, right? To like replicate what it looks like. I think really what needs to happen is, uh, I don't know if you've ever like gone to an MMA gym fully, where it's like, hey, we are an MMA gym,
Mm,
and they run MMA classes. That shit, you are hitting mitts, right, with your combination,
yep.
and you are sparring. There's
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like, other drills about, "Hey, let's practice our footwork. Hey, let's practice, like, head movement. Let's practice, like, reaction time." There's a
Mm,
lot of lack of drilling, that I've experienced at MMA gyms. It's even, like, some Brazilian jiu-jitsu gyms. They don't drill certain positions. Some I've been to a couple where it's, like, it's basically 90% just rolling, and then
really?
maybe 10% they'll go, "Hey, we're gonna practice arm bars today," or "Hey, we're gonna practice Kimuras today." But like they don't walk you through entirely the setup and everything. I know higher level gyms really kind of like hone in and focus on that, but I think a lot of these guys, we like to think of them these like real professional athletes that are like using best practices. I think a lot of these guys. I mean, look at Yuri, look at Tony Ferguson, look at all these fighters that have just weird janky styles, and we're like, why are you fighting like this? And then you look at how they train, and you go like there's nothing systematized here. There's nothing
Mm,
like building for a sort of internal knowledge base overall. This
mhm,
is all just kind of, hey, do you have the natural aptitude? Great. Let's just get you reps in sparring. Let's get you reps in grappling scenarios, right? That's another reason why like the Nurmagomedov camp is so good is because they like routinely game plan and go like, okay, this person likes single leg takedowns, so we're gonna spend all week just doing single leg drills, reversing single legs. Here's the like route you're gonna take, um, and I think a lot of MMA gyms could just benefit from that rather than VR. You know?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I
like,
I would just assumed that some of these
yeah,
higher level gyms had that and were
nah, man.
doing some of those things, but if like the Nurmagomedov camp is like the rarity there, that's
Mhm.
you know, yikes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, dude. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. There's there's some buffoonery out there. I'd say probably 50% of the MMA gyms that have UFC fighters. It's not a testament to the gym that their fighter went to the UFC. It was like this fighter, regardless of where they were at, probably would have made it to the UFC anyway. And
Mhm.
you just happened to be the gym in their local area that they showed up at. Yeah, there's not a lot of like. That's why when you see someone like, is it MMA Lab or Fight Lab down in Arizona, where you have this huge spread of fighters who, like some are completely super unathletic and some are very athletic, and they all
Mhm.
are in the UFC and all have success. You go like, that's a good gym because they're taking randos off the street and are able to like give them a system and like an
Yeah.
understanding of how to approach a fight. And then, I mean, dude, then you have like ones like John Kavanagh's gym in Ireland where it's like, bro, I've seen your fighters other than Conor McGregor. They're not good. They don't look like they know how to fight. And it's just kind of like Conor probably would have been a great fighter regardless of where he had gone gym wise in
Mhm.
Ireland, right? Like he has freakish ability. And so yeah. Anyway, well, that's VR. That's mouth
That's
breathing.
that has been that has been Stubby's take on bro science for this week.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear more and more bro science as we
Oh
go through
yeah.
this because
I'll be searching for the bro science now.
yeah, man, dude, in the era of Trump, it's gonna be man. I side note, hopefully no one from my work listens, but my boss has uploaded a profile to school. Have you heard of this thing?
Yeah. Isn't it like a learning platform or something?
Kind
Like
of, right? It's like, there's Coursera, which is like legit, and then like Udemy, which is less legit, and then there's school. And I was just going through like the top courses, and there's like how to utilize like raw meat to enhance your testosterone, how to like grow a must or like how to like improve mustache growth. And I was like, yo, this is the most bro like the proliferation of bro science for like I guess manosphere shit is I don't understand. I didn't realize the product market fit was so big. I didn't realize that there's that much of a demand to understand how like eating your own dead skin from your like face helps your testicles get bigger or whatever the fuck. Like it's wild as shit. Anyway, but let's not talk about that. That's terrible stuff. I don't want to talk about
yeah,
that
yeah.
unless you've got good bro science. Then I'll listen to it. But February 1st, Colin, this coming
Yeah.
Saturday is gonna
Yeah.
be a banger. And it's not just because we have the return of Israel Adesanya and Michael Venom Page and a terrible heavyweight fight, but it's also because we have an absolute, and I'm going to be so white here, a crackerjack boxing card. It is stellar, man. Um, do you know about this boxing card coming up?
No, on the same night?
Same night.
No, what
Now, the
who's
nice thing is the UFC card for the one true time zone, Pacific, starts at 9 a.m. for us.
Yeah.
The UFC card, so little morning snack, and then evening entree. We've got David Benavidez, the guy that Canelo Alvarez has
Oh,
been ducking. He
yeah,
is fighting David Morrell Jr., a like phenomenal Cuban boxer. So we've got Mexico versus Cuba. David Benavidez has 29 wins with a nearly 83% finish rate, and David Morrell has an 82% finish rate, but only 11 wins.
Jesus.
Both of these dudes absolutely hate each other.
Oh,
And
shit,
I'm
why?
not usually into beef, but they both got that kind of machismo thing, and they both just seem like any slight, even hint of disrespect, they're ready to throw down right there.
Uh-huh.
David Benavidez on camera went, "Fuck this guy's dog, fuck this guy's cat, fuck everything in his life. I'm gonna take it all from him." And I'm like, "Damn, fuck the dog? That's rough, man. That's rough." Um, Both of these dudes hit like trucks. David Benavidez doesn't have the best footwork, but just marches people down and smashes them. David Morrell, a little bit more of a natural light heavyweight. Last time we saw Benavidez fight was at light heavyweight to win the WBA light heavy. Was it WBA? No, WBC, the interim championship. And
Okay.
it looked like he gassed because he was going up in weight rather than fighting down at 167. But he, maybe he's probably going to stick at this weight for a while. And David Morrell is a true light heavyweight, so this should be a great fight. All offense from both of these guys, decent defense as a high level boxer should have, but not like the slickness of Canelo. Like this is just going to be two cars driving into each other. And the winner most likely will fight the winner of Bivol Beterbiev, which happens
Ah.
later this month. Um, that's dude. This fight's gonna fucking rock. And even if it doesn't, the co-main event is Brandon Figueroa versus Stephen Fulton Jr. The second time they fought. Their 2021 fight was like fight of the year contender. An
Oh, wow. Okay.
absolutely amazing fight, and they're gonna rematch. It's for the WBC featherweight championship. Yeah, their first fight was blood and guts. I think there was 3 knockdowns across the entirety of the fight. These guys are at 126, little tiny dudes. You love little tiny dudes.
I do.
So
I do.
yeah, let's have them fight, and then maybe how about Inoue? Let's have Inoue come up, fight Figueroa or Stephen
Oh.
Fulton.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good. And then before that, 3 fights on a boxing card. Are you crazy? We've got Isaac Pitbull Cruz against Angel Fierro. This is gonna be like these are 2 dyed-in-the-wool Mexican fighters. Just get in there, swang and bang, brawl, never take a step backwards, never do anything, just punish the head and the body endlessly. Both of these guys are phenomenal, super fun action fighters. They've had losses. Like I don't think they'll ever be, kind of in the pound for pound discussion while they're active. But 2 amazing fighters, 2 all action fighters. So, dude, this is just gonna be car crash and car crash and car crash. 3 fights. This is, dude. I'm way more pumped for this than I am the UFC fight card. This is.
I didn't even know that there's a boxing fight
Oh
card
yeah.
this weekend. So
Ooh,
great. All
gonna be
right.
good. And it's not. I don't think it's sponsored by Saudi Arabia, so like I don't have this sort
Ah.
of moral conundrum. I think it's just PBC putting on their best fights.
All
Yeah,
right.
man.
All
Oh,
right.
and it's available on Prime Video, so you could watch it
Oh.
on Prime.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So that's, dude. It's gonna be a good fight card. You gotta watch it. You gotta catch it.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Oh, and last thing, David Benavidez, David Morrell, 2 action fighters. They both absolutely hate each other, and both of them undefeated. So someone's O has got to go, and that's pretty
Ooh.
cool. I
All
love
right.
that.
All right. All right.
Anyway, but talk to me. What are you excited about for this UFC in Saudi Arabia fight card?
Well, first of all, I need to ask you: are we doing picks for this fight?
You know it.
We are. Okay. Are we going to do the
Yeah.
same format as we did last time then?
I think we'll just do the main event. We'll just do 4
Co-main
picks.
event. Okay. Okay.
Nah. Well, sure, fine. We'll do main event, co-main event, fight most likely to end in a finish, fight most likely to go to a decision, and then underdog pick.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay.
Does that
I
work?
gotta do some.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we
Shit.
did. Yeah, finish, decision, and underdog win. So
Yeah, there's 3 fights on this card, Like that's the issue that I'm running into right now.
well, that's what I was saying. Like, are we doing picks? Because there's a lot of people. No,
Yeah, I mean we gotta do.
let's do it. No, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah. We're not gonna Shamil Gaziev. Oh. Yeah. Man, some of these are rough. Like these are not.
Yeah.
How many fights on this card are you interested in?
Define interested.
Well, like if I was like, hey, this is on a card, you'd be like, that adds to the card. Or if I were to say it to you, you'd be like, that changes my opinion in no way or negatively.
That is most of those fights right there for me. I am excited for Izzy because I am a big Izzy fanboy.
Mhm.
And Izzy's kind of in that do or die mode right now. Like, hey, like where is my fight career going after this? If I
Mhm.
have an emphatic win, okay, I can like bring myself right back into like the main contender discussion. If I
Mhm.
have anything less than that though, like an impressive win, then it's kind of okay, what now?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so you're interested in that one.
Yep. I want to see.
Damn, and that's it, huh? Wow.
Pretty much. I mean, like I'm looking through. A lot of these fighters, like I just don't even know. And I see Sharon Bullet is fighting again and going against Michael Venom Page.
Mhm.
That has the potential for a major snooze fest right there.
Yes, it does. But I guess even if it is a snooze fest, it at least showed that Share a Bullet isn't good, and we don't have to listen to any more donkey brain people tell us that Share a Bullet's good.
Yeah, but what if he beats Michael Venom Page?
He's not gonna.
But what if he does?
Then, I mean, wait, what? He beat like an old welterweight, moving up to middleweight for the first time, right? Then
Yeah,
feed
I
him to
guess so.
Robert Whitaker. Then let Robert Whitaker, with his new teeth, feast upon the flesh of Share a Bullet. That's what I say. Um, yeah, he's not gonna win though. Come on, him,
No, I mean, yeah,
him.
I'm hopeful.
Okay. So we've got one you're excited for, one I can't tell. Are you interested in it, or are you like, nah, not really?
I'm interested to hopefully get him like derailed. That's what I want.
Mhm. Yeah. It at least will be like a learning experience, right? I'll be like, all right, I know a little because Share a Bullet did that double back fist
Oh my
knockout,
god,
which
yeah.
was stupid. But it's also like he fought against someone who's like after getting punched in the head is like, I should stand stationary right where I'm at. There's no need for me to move. And then that's why the other back fist landed. And you're like, well, okay. But what if he fights a fighter who knows that you should use footwork? Like, then what's gonna happen? Like
Yeah.
and Michael Venom Page, for all of his silliness, he's very difficult to actually like get a hold of and hit. So
Mhm.
I am a little interested in that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Now, what about this heavyweight fight, man? What do we like? Are you? What is this a negative for you, or is this? What do we think?
I mean, there's like the heavyweight division right now is such a mess that like there are like no consequences right now. Like
Yeah.
it's Tom Aspinall and that's it. You
Yep.
know, I'm really only looking to have him fight either like John Jones or like
Joker
Alex
Almeida.
Pereira if
Oh
he like
yeah,
moves
that's
up.
fair.
You know, that's
Okay.
pretty much it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so most of these fights are of no consequence to me because partly because Tom Aspinall's beaten like everyone already, so
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Yeah.
hard to make the argument for anyone right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I got nothing for the heavyweights right now.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's I mean, like the only thing I could say is like both of these guys have very high knockout percentages, so hopefully that'll
Yeah.
happen. Unlike the
Or
Shamil Gaziev Thomas Peterson heavyweight fight down the list, where I think Shamil Gaziev his last loss was just he just got too tired and retired on the stool. It was just like I don't
oh
want to go out there.
no.
I'm sleepy. Yeah, when he fought Rosenstruck. Yeah, he just like retired on the stool. He was like, I'm too tired. I don't want to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Yeah. Any other fight to call out here that you're interested in?
No, I mean it sounds like you know more of these fighters than I do, so
Well, hold on. We've got, I guess, Myra Buenasilva is moving down to flyweight
yeah.
after her unsuccessful bid for a title at bantamweight. Who cares? No, that's about it, man. Like it really is. It for me, it's. I don't care about heavyweight, but Sergey Pavlovich, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, they both hit hard enough and are so bad at defense that I'm like, hopefully there will be a knockout in the first 30 seconds, and so we can move quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Share a Bullet, Michael Page is interesting, and then Izzy versus Imavov, though I think that one also has the potential to be a real snooze fest because
Yeah.
Imavov is a pretty slow paced fighter,
Yeah.
and I could just see Izzy kind of dancing around on the outside, hitting him with a jab, hitting him with a low kick, and then just kind of rinse and repeat. Circle for 10 seconds, jab, low kick, circle for 10 seconds, jab, low
Yeah.
kick for 5 fucking rounds.
Yeah. Maybe like a straight right to the body and that's
Yeah, maybe.
it.
Maybe if we're lucky. Yeah. Though Izzy saying that like after this fight he wants Sean Strickland next, so he's at least gunning for a rematch, which hopefully he's kind of like fired up to fight. And he apparently has put on a bunch of weight, like packed on 10, 20 pounds to try to
Mm,
be a little bit heavier handed, even though I don't think his size was the issue with him being able to knock people out.
no.
So, yeah. All right. So yeah,
Unrelated, I do love that like that series or videos or blogs, whatever that of Izzy and Robert just like hanging out and training together. So I do
yeah,
like to see that because there was a time where they were like
hated
really
each
not
other.
friends of each other. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it's cool. Like I'm glad, and they're two of like the all-time great middleweights. And now they're kind of both the old men of the division who have lost to the two previous champions, and I guess
Yeah,
Hamza, right? But
yeah.
is he lost to Strickland and DDP? I did like hearing them talk about DDP, where they're like,
Yes.
when we fought him, he was just so slow, and I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, and then he hit me, and you're like, yeah, like he's DDP, man, an
Yeah.
anomaly.
Yeah.
Who knows? That's yeah, no,
2025, the rise of DDP.
yeah,
It's happening.
yes. Dude, the rise has already happened. He's here. He's the king. I went back and rewatched in anticipation for 312 because I know we're going to need to talk about DDP versus Strickland. It's free on YouTube right now on the UFC channel. Dude, talk about a shit fight. So boring, technique so terrible. Like,
Yeah.
just a bad fight overall to watch. It's not even like, hey, it's slow paced, but it's interesting to see the technique, or hey, like the technique is shit, but it's at least like a good slobber knocker. It's nothing. It's in
Yeah.
no. It's on the chart between slobber knocker and technique and high pace and low pace. It's the dot right in the middle. The most neutral, boring fucking thing ever. It's so boring.
Brutal.
Their next fight is probably going to be just as boring, and I'm like, why? We didn't need this. Why? Sean Strickland beat the thinning hairline of Paulo Costa. Like, who? Why does he get a title shot again? Like, this is. Ugh. Anyway, all right. Well, we've got a good weekend of fights. February 1st is gonna slap. We've got 3 fantastic boxing matches. We have 1 slightly interesting MMA fight, maybe 2, no more than that though. Join us next week. Not next week, on Friday. We're gonna make picks. 5 picks overall. I guess we're not gonna do, though maybe we will for the boxing one, if I have any inklings about an underdog possibly winning. But we're gonna make 5 picks. It's going to be Israel Adesanya, Nasruddin Imavov, Sherabullet Magomedov, Michael Venom Page, and then finish of the night, decision of the night, and underdog winner of the night. Yep. Anyway, this has been 2 Fight Fans Podcast. I'm one Fight Fan Stuart.
I'm the other Colin.
Put on your VR headset, boys. Start screaming into the void.
Start screaming.
That's the way to do it. And if anyone files a noise complaint against you, tell them that you're going to be UFC champion one day. Bye, everybody.